So that's no good. We finally broke something in the old 5.2. We are down on cylinder 5. 0 PSI, once in a while it hops up to 60 PSI. So we're gonna cylinder leak down test that cylinder 5, figure out what we broke in our poor little 5.2. You know, she's been taking all the boost from these Chinese Wu-Tang warriors. We've been giving her all the nitrous from the Nitrous Express, and we've been cold revving it to 7,500 RPMs, just sending it to the moon. So we're gonna figure out what we actually did to hurt this little 5.2. So now that we got our air turned on, we turned up the PSI. You can see we got about 90 PSI going in, and we are holding about 80 PSI. So that's actually pretty good. We do have a lot of blow-by out of the crankcase, so the exhaust, can't really hear anything out of that. Intakes, can't really hear or feel anything out of that. You definitely can hear it out the catch can, which is just a perfectly breather from the crankcases. This motor does have 213,000 miles on it, so they have a little blow by. The piston rings, you know, she's old. The taper of the bore ain't probably too straight no more, and that's why we love her. So by going by this though, that is definitely not why we only have like 60 PSI randomly on that cylinder. It seems like everything's sealing in there okay. I wouldn't say it's good, but it's definitely okay. I'm gonna say that we either have a bent push rod or a broken valve spring. I don't know, it doesn't run like crap, so I'm doubting it's gonna be a broken valve spring. And one last place to check, this cooling system. Our hose is not blown up like a balloon, so it's definitely not bleeding off into the cooling system, so our head gasket is good to go. There's our issue. So there's a nice bent push rod in there, so we're gonna get these rocker arms out of the way, get that guy pulled out. I ain't gonna say that's straight whatsoever, but that a little bent. I'm not gonna blame it on the Chinese Wu-Tang warriors. I ain't gonna blame it on the Nitrous Express wet kit, but I'm not gonna say that that is actually okay. But we found our issue, so we're gonna put a nice new straight one in, and we're gonna send it right back down the road with all the boost, all the nitrous, and everything this little 5.2 can handle, because obviously she's still kicking. It did eat this pretty good though, and also the rocker arm is actually kind of messed up. The guide plate on the bottom of the rocker arm is pretty broken right there. You see nice bend, not nice bend. So good thing Eric's got the parts list of laundry list of 5.9 5.2 Magnums. We got 5.9 right there. We also got a sneaky another 5.9 right there, 5.7 Hemi. You. But yes, so we are gonna get another push rod, put in this baby, we're gonna get it all slapped back together, and we're gonna go friggin' driving the old 5.2. So we got a nice used set of rocker arms right there, and we got a nice crusty used push rod, but she's gonna work good. She's old, she's crusty, but you know what? She's hard, she's worn, she's seen the miles, she's been around the world on the old 5.2 over 200,000 times. Say that about a lot of people, and she's still kicking. So we're gonna shove her back in the motor, revamp this back all up, and we're gonna get her on to starting up. Doesn't that sound happy? Well, the way we found the cylinder 5 misfire was with the thermal imager, which we're gonna show you right now. So Whitey's run great. We fired her up last night, ran her for a little bit. We are having some exhaust header leaks though. It wasn't just the push rod making a bunch of noise. We are blown out on cylinder 1 here. We just had our pressure tester hooked up and she is blowing air out. And on this side too, we're having some slight leakage from the header gasket as well. So we're gonna take these headers both off, make sure they're nice and flat, replace these header gaskets. Yeah, so we're missing a fender. I just thought it'd be easier to get to all the bolts. They're kind of a pain in the butt to do with the Allen wrench. It'd be nice just to sit down and tire into it. So we took the fender off. Plus I needed to delete the ABS module. That baby needed to go bye-bye because we don't got any factory components anymore on this baby since we're aftermarket ECU. There's a lot of the wiring that we can delete too. We'll probably do that another day. We're just gonna get rid of the ABS module, plus our brake lines were like rusty crusty. It's probably not good to be doing 120 miles per hour in a quarter mile with some rusty crusty brake lines. So that was probably a safety object that we needed to update and fix. And yeah, so we're just simplifying the process of doing this. Plus we'll get rid of the inner well of the fender. Just make her lighter, you know, she's a drag truck and all, so. And look at that, she's got the moods. Love it. Yeah, our header's got that good texture of fire extinguisher, because if you guys remember the video of the burnout competition that we did, that we won, we ended up catching on fire and they shot us with a fire extinguisher, and now we have a permanent coating on our turbo header of fire extinguisher white and black. A nice and toasty header. This little white heart impact, this thing kicks butt. This thing has got the torque. I've been using it around the shop for probably the last 2 months, and I love it. I love how it's small, compact. Compared to my Milwaukee, which is big headed, that baby's got all the torque, but this has got a good amount of torque to it. It takes wheels off. It's nice for jobs like this. It's nice and lightweight. The heart impact sockets are pretty sweet too. Yeah, that's why she's pretty dirty, but I'm actually in love with this little heart impact. Just like that, whole turbo's out. Just got done decking this header, so she's nice and flat again. You can see all the clean metal, so she's nice and flat again, so the header gasket was sealed. So now we got to deck the driver's side header, which is right there. The way I deck them is I use this big guy right here, this nice flat, like 48-inch sandpaper, and I just lay it on here nice and flat, and that gets it pretty straight. So you can see we're not really hitting here and here and here, so we're going to deck it just a little bit more. So Whitey's put it all back together. Well, he's 90% put all back together. We got fenders on, turbos on, oil feed, oil drain. We got our wiring all put back besides the battery. We got our new brake lines built, as you can see right there. We had to reuse the stock proportioning valve. I kind of forgot about that. I took the ABS module out of here, the old R-wall system, threw it in the garbage because we don't need it. And now we're just running the proportioning valve. So this is our front brakes. Or sorry, this is our rear brakes. Our front brakes are in the back. Our front brakes, of course, go to a beautiful line lock. And yeah, so we made our front fenders also a quick disconnect style, so just a few bolts and she'll be off. So especially at the track, if we have to get to the header bolts, they're a pain in the giant butt to get to, laying on your stomach, laying in between two hot turbos while a tile blow-off valve stabs you in the chest. It's not the funnest thing in the world. So taking the fenders off, it makes it really nice. What I really want to do is cut the inner wells out, but it holds our factory battery in the factory position and also all our wiring that we need to go through eventually one day.